Hey, everybody, it's Evan Grant from DallasNews.com and the Dallas Morning News. Your occasionally grumpy Texas Rangers insider. Another edition of This Week in Rangers Baseball, y'all. Late April offensive panic mode episode. Hope you didn't have the sound all the way up. So here we are. As I record this, the Rangers are about to start a week-long road trip, California, at longtime Major League Baseball stronghold Sacramento, and then at San Francisco. And as they go on the road, the overwhelming story around this team appears to be the lack of offense, and it's a significant story. But before we get there, and I've got a lot of numbers to run through, let's just review one thing. At the moment, the Rangers are 13-9. Pending a night game with Sacramento, or the Athletics as they're called, tonight. And to this point, they have played the number 2 ranked strength of schedule in Major League Baseball, behind only the Chicago Cubs, against whom the Rangers went 1-2 on the road earlier this year. So I guess my point here is, despite the fact that the Rangers have the fewest runs in baseball, and that they have a negative run differential, all of which suggests they can't keep doing this and winning. The fact that they have done this and won to this point should be encouraging, because the offense can't be as bad as it's been. And I know there are a lot of concerns from a lot of Ranger fans out there about what's going on with the offense. I've heard for people on social media, which is really where we all go for our most trusted opinions. But lots of people want the Rangers to fire all their hitting coaches. They want lots of people benched, want lots of changes. And I would, in my best John Wayne, I guess, say, slow down, little partner, which is not a good John Wayne at all. And John Wayne Kids was an actor from a long time ago, played a lot of cowboys, kind of the way Jeff Bannister managed the Rangers, if you're looking for a comparison. Anyway, to get on to the offensive stuff, let's talk about a couple of things. Yes, let's talk about some problems. The Rangers are, right now, 29th of 30 teams in baseball in run scoring percentage, meaning the number of times a base runner reaches base that he scores. So they haven't been efficient. They have, and part of that is the fact that they're not playing good situational baseball. When you're not scoring runs, I'm sorry, even if you're a slugging team, sometimes you have to make some adjustments, and the Rangers haven't done that. They have the fewest productive outs in baseball. They have no sacrifice bunts, and they are in a lot of situations giving away at bats. They lead Major League Baseball in swing percentage. They're swinging at over 51% of the pitches, and they have the lowest walk rate in baseball. Again, these are numbers that don't sustain success. The bigger miracle is that they're 13-9 with such an inefficient offense to this point. But when you do build a slugging team, and this is a Rangers team built to slug, it's built on power. The hitters in this lineup are really Corey Seager, and Wyatt Langford. Other guys are more sluggers. I think Josh Young could be a hitter. I think he is very hitterish, but I also think that he's going to have to walk some more, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the two accomplished hitters, I think, are Seager, and I think that we have to say, even after just a year, Wyatt Langford showed a lot in the second half of his first season. He's both able to hit the ball to all fields with power and take walks. With a slugging team that is power over disciplined hitting, you're going to go through some prolonged slumps. And that is what the Rangers appear to be in right now. Now, there's going to be periods of time this year where they're going to mash the ball to a point where, by the way, the dog is in the background, our new puppy. Aww. That's the squeaking noise you hear. I can't make this stuff up. This is just my household. Back from a dog squeak toy break. My point here is that the Rangers need to be more efficient in scoring runs, and that requires a little bit more discipline. I'm not suggesting Bruce Bochy put the take sign on mandatory, but hey, it couldn't hurt at this point in time. This team is 29th in baseball in pitches per plate appearance, which means they're making outs too early, and they are not getting to the soft part of a bullpen. Um, and because of that, guys who are more prone to make mistakes aren't facing Ranger hitters. So they're not only not making it easy for themselves, they're also not allowing opponents to make it easier for them. So these are all problems that the Rangers have had in the first month and that can't continue past this month. But with all of that, I will say this again. You do need to give a team a month, particularly if it's not absolutely drowning, to kind of work out the kinks. There are some new hitters in the lineup. I think that some of them, in particular, Jake Berger, is really, after two turns with non-competitive teams, is doing everything he can to live up to the expectation. And so I think he's pressing a little bit. I think Jock Peterson has just been in a bad way, but even as a longtime veteran, I think you can get to a point where you start to press. And I think that's what's happening with him. Look, nobody wants to see an 050 or 057 batting average up on the window, up on the scoreboard. Um, Along with Peterson and Berger, you've got some other issues, but let's go to Berger for 1 second and back and work backwards a little bit. Um, he's trying to will things to happen a little bit, I think. And you look at his pitches per plate appearance, and he is the guy on the club who has the highest frequency of quick outs. He's seeing the fourth fewest pitches per plate appearance in the big leagues right now. Um, and that stands out because the guy he replaced, Nathaniel Lowe, was a guy um, very well renowned for taking a lot of pitches. Berger has more power and has the ability to make pitchers pay on fastballs more, and that's part of the reason the Rangers went and acquired him. Uh, but he's also going to have to the adjustment he's going to have to make is be a little bit more patient. Josh Young. Josh Young has the fourth most of plate appearances in Major League Baseball this year without a walk. He's acknowledged to me a couple of times that he's been too swing happy in some situations. I think that's led to a couple of called third strikes when he's almost like said, okay, I'm going to take a pitch here regardless. And it's either put him in bad counts or in two situations, I think we're led to called third strikes. So that's something that Josh is going to have to do to take the next step is be willing to walk a little bit. He's never been a high walk guy. His brother, Jace, who just got called up by the Tigers, is a high walk guy. Josh is not. And finally, I think that you look at Marcus Semien and going back now to last year, it's a 298 on base percentage in the leadoff spot, and it's just not acceptable. What's worse is it's over 700 at bats, 800 plate appearances. So there's something of a track record emerging there. All of which brings us to this. Your friendly Rangers doctors. See, I took off my glasses to get serious. Um, your friendly Rangers doctor, hitting doctor, offense doctor, whatever you want to call me, the offensive specialist, because I offend everybody. There are 3 steps that I would take, really at any point in time, but I certainly would be completely acceptable or amenable to the idea of waiting till the end of April before you instituted any of those. But here's 3 things that I think you could see the Rangers potentially do as we move forward. One, obviously, would be remove Semien from the leadoff spot. I don't know exactly where you'd insert him into the lineup, but I could see a case where you actually would put him 3. Maybe with a couple of guys on base, he gets more fastballs. He does actually hit fastballs, gets them in fastball counts, and maybe maybe that would help. And if you do put him 3, then it makes it easier to take either Josh Smith or Wyatt Langford and put one of them into the leadoff spot. Because right now, those are the guys who, to me, would represent the best options at leadoff if you're trying to stress on base there. Um, Langford gives you a power and speed type of opportunity, and please don't tell me, oh, he's too much of a power hitter. Shohei Ohtani hits leadoff for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, end of story there. Um, I would personally, given Semion's track record, I would certainly give him through April before I considered a change there. The other part of that is, of course, the Rangers had gone into spring training thinking that they'd have Evan Carter as a potential leadoff option. Evan Carter is not a leadoff option and is far from being one at this point in time. So you'd have to either force Smith or Langford in there. I think they're both good options. But one of those guys is hitting 3 pretty much every night right now. So the second thing, and I think you're seeing some of this take place, is Leody Taveras he has a track record too, and it's a track record of being not a great offensive player. And despite a strong spring, he's off to the same kind of start that he's gotten off to pretty much every year. He had one really good half in 2023, and pretty much everything else has been somewhere between 620 and 660 OPS thing, 620 and 680 OPS. And we're talking about a guy who's now over 1,800 career plate appearances. And so it's just, he's having his shot. And if you've got an attractive option, I think right now the Rangers have Dustin Harris pushing for playing time because his at-bats have been perhaps the most competitive on the team. Not always the most successful, but certainly very competitive. And you've got Josh Smith, who needs everyday playing time. So I could see a situation perhaps, Harris played center field on Sunday and Josh Smith can play center field. I could see a situation maybe you put Wyatt Langford in center field every day and use Smith or Harris in left field, or use Smith or Harris in center and Langford in left. But I think 2 of those 3 guys are going to need to play in the outfield regularly. And the third thing that I really have to stress here is, I think I kind of hit on this earlier, was the Rangers have to take some more pitches, particularly with 2 strikes. Look, what we saw against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers could very much exploit this because they have, in the first 2 pitchers that they threw, Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki, had 2 guys with splitters and forkballs who make the ball go down on 2 strikes, down below the zone. And the Rangers are a little bit like Gina Davis's sister, Lori Petty, in a league of their own. Although she chased the high fastball, and as Gina Davis said, can't hit them, can't lay off them. Rangers, they can't hit stuff below the zone, and they keep chasing it. They've had 46 2-strike pitches below the zone for swings and misses. They don't have a hit on a pitch below the zone with 2 strikes, and they have the most at bats without a hit in the big leagues in that situation. And so, maybe Bruce Bochy does need to come up with a take sign and say, look, we're going to take some 2-strike pitches because teams know they don't have to throw the Rangers strikes with 2 pitches to get them to chase. And that is a bad precedent to set any time of the year, not just April. It's a bad precedent. So those are the things that I could see either the Rangers employing or doing as they move forward if this offense doesn't wake up very quickly. Now, look, they're about to play Oakland. Sorry, Major League Baseball. They're about to play the Athletics and maybe get into a little stretch of the schedule where the degree of difficulty is a little bit easier. So maybe we will see the offense kind of start to light up. But if it doesn't, I think these are the fixes that you can see this team making. They're not going to go out and bring in some big bat. Their answers are all on the team or in the minor leagues in Evan Carter, if he gets right. And that's how this team is going to have to approach it. So, I think the Rangers addressed a bunch of their needs over the wintertime, their specific needs, which were hitting the high fastball. I think they have added slugging in hopes that they'd score a lot of runs and maybe not have to put so much pressure on the pitching staff. But with sluggers comes some more inconsistency, and that's what you're seeing at the plate. So these are things that the Rangers will have to adjust as the season goes on. And look, April is all about finding out what you've got. You start to address that stuff in May and more often in June as you reach the second set, after you've played about 54 games, after you've completed the first third of the season. But in the meantime, I think those are some modifications the Rangers could consider. I'm going to work on my speech diction and actually getting the words out that I'm trying to say. And I'll be back next in 2 weeks with another edition of Rangers This Week in Rangers Baseball, y'all. In the meantime, you can always catch me here. You can catch me on the Twitter at Evan_P_Grant. You can catch Sean McFarland covering the Rangers. You can catch the Sports Day Insider podcast. Look, we've got a ton of ways to reach you. You can always leave comments here. I know sometimes I'm not as consistent about getting to them as I'd like to be, but want to hear from you, want to hear your ideas, want to hear your thoughts. I do appreciate every one of them. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon, y'all. Good video.